Okay, so recently I remembered that I actually never got the chance to react to the first Republican debate, which I saw like the second 3/4 of it, I believe, something like that. I missed the first half hour, 45 minutes or so. And I never actually went back and watched it, but I figured I'd look up a highlights video and see if I could react to that, to give my thoughts on some of that, or just see my reaction, you know. And hopefully this is a good one. It's called GOP Presidential Candidates Debate 2015 Best Memorable Moments video. All right, so let's check it out. Okay.
Tonight, businessman Donald Trump.
Right from the jump tonight, Donald Trump made waves.
Is there anyone on stage, and can I see hands, who is unwilling tonight to pledge your support to the eventual nominee of the Republican Party and pledge to not run an independent campaign against that person? Mr. Trump.
I cannot say I can totally make that pledge. If I'm the nominee, I will pledge I will not run as an independent.
So tonight you can't say if another one of these...
This is what's wrong. I mean,
Okay.
This is what's wrong. He buys and sells politicians of all stripes. He's used to buying politicians.
Well, I've given him plenty of money.
You're not going to make the pledge tonight?
I will not make the pledge at this time.
Okay.
A few other candidates said a few other things, and then 21 minutes in, it was back to Trump for another doozy.
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't. For the record, it was well beyond Rosie O'Donnell.
Yes, I'm sure it was.
Your Twitter account has several disparaging comments about women's looks.
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct.
Moments later, Rosie herself weighed in on Twitter, quote, "Try explaining that to your kids." The testiest moment of the night didn't involve Trump, but instead New Jersey Governor Chris Christie and Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Yeah. It was over the NSA's bulk data collection, which Christie supports and Paul does not.
I want to collect more records from terrorists, but less records from innocent Americans.
When you're sitting in a subcommittee just blowing hot air about this, you can say things like that.
You fundamentally misunderstand the Bill of Rights. I don't trust President Obama with our records. I know you gave him a big hug, and if you want to give him a big hug again, go right ahead.
Go ahead, Governor.
And you know, Senator Paul, the hugs that I remember are the hugs that I gave to the families who lost their people on September 11th.
To be sure, there was plenty of Hillary Clinton bashing tonight.
If Hillary is the candidate, which I doubt, that would be a dream come true.
If I'm our nominee, how is Hillary Clinton going to lecture me about living paycheck to paycheck?
Everywhere in the world that Hillary Clinton touched is more messed up today than before she and the
president. We have many questions to come.
Here in the same arena in Cleveland, where the Republican Party will hold its national convention next year. But perhaps the most bizarre riff on Hillary came from the Donald, who talked about why he contributed to her in the past.
With Hillary Clinton, I said, be at my wedding, and she came to my wedding. You know why? She had no choice.
It was a bit of a tough night at times for Jeb Bush. The former governor of Florida seemed to struggle on issues such as immigration, education, and once again, the Iraq War. But he did stay above the fray when offered a chance to attack Trump.
You called Mr. Trump a clown, a buffoon, something else that cannot be repeated on television.
None of which is true.
Is it true?
No, it's not true. But I have said that Mr. Trump's language is divisive. I want to win. I want one of these people here, or the ones at 5 o'clock, to be the next president of the United States.
Well, first of all, Jeb, I am very happy that you denied that, and I appreciate that very much.
So how did the debate go over with Republican voters? We got some rapid response tonight.
If you won't say it, I will.
From Tony Lahren, a young political commentator who's become a viral sensation on YouTube in recent weeks. Tonight she weighed in on all things Trump.
We know Donald Trump tells it like it is. He's not afraid of it. What I saw, though, is Donald Trump be fearless. I didn't see him back himself into a corner. I saw him challenge Megyn Kelly. I saw him challenge other Republicans on the stage. And then I saw Megyn Kelly challenge him right back. I like the conversation there.
And ABC's Tom Yamas was right there in Cleveland tonight for all the drama. Tom,
yeah, I like
what are
the
you seeing there?
conversation, but
Dan, good evening from the post-debate spin room where candidates are answering even more questions. The big buzz, obviously, that Donald Trump is not afraid to run without the Republican Party, refusing to take a pledge that he will not run as an independent. The other big buzz, some candidates actually breaking through. Besides Donald Trump, Dr. Ben Carson, the second most talked about candidate on social media. And speaking of social media, Hillary Clinton had something to say. Jon Stewart, missing you already. Hashtag GOP debate. Dan, back to you.
Tom Yamas on the ground in Cleveland tonight. Thank you. We want to turn now to our colleague Matt Dowd, ABC News political analyst, and also BuzzFeed's Washington, D.C. bureau chief John Stanton. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. Let me start with you. Did Donald Trump help or hurt himself tonight?
I think Donald Trump had momentum coming into tonight, but I think over the course of the 2 hours, I think it wore sort of thin over this. And I think any momentum, in my view, that he had coming in is stopped by tonight. I think he made a few errors in the course of tonight, some of the engagement that he had with some of the moderators. But I think what he did, he'll still be ahead coming out, but I think any momentum is now stalled because of his shtick. Kind of got a little old over 2 hours.
So, John, you work at BuzzFeed. I've got to ask you, do you have a sense of what is popping tonight, what's going viral, if anything?
I think there are a couple of things. I think one, the eye roll from Rand Paul was kind of amazing in his fight with Governor Christie. I think the Donald Trump sort of the shruggy emoticon moment there was pretty good because they both sort of sum up, I think, their debate performances, frankly. But I think coming out of today, Carly Fiorina, who did very, very well in the afternoon debate, and the Ohio Governor Kasich, he did very, very well tonight. And I think they're going to have momentum, and that could change the dynamic a little bit for Trump.
Why are people so excited about Carly?
Carly Fiorina will be in the next debate. I think she has enough momentum from her earlier debate. By all accounts, she won it overwhelmingly. And I think there was enough people at this debate that sort of faded from it that she's going to jump into that next debate in September. So get ready for Carly Fiorina. And I agree. I think if there was a winner tonight, it was John Kasich, the governor of Ohio. I think he came across as the adult in the room. His answers, they flowed well. There was a seam to him. And I actually think he had the line of the night tonight, which is, God loves me unconditionally, therefore, in the answer to the question about gay marriage and his daughters, therefore, I'm going to love my friends and my family unconditionally.
Okay, before we go, got to ask you about Jeb Bush.
I think he didn't do a lot to ultimately distinguish himself, which is kind of, I think, what he needed to do to get some kind of momentum.
I'll take it a step further. I think Jeb Bush is no longer the inevitable candidate that everybody thought he was. I think of anybody on that stage tonight that didn't do what they were supposed to do at all, it was Jeb Bush. He's going to need every dollar of his $100 million in this course of this race because he just lost any veneer of inevitability coming out of here.
As we come on the air in the West tonight, it's great to have you with us. And as we begin tonight, our team is on the ground in Cleveland, and the Republican team is on the stage. The first big debate now underway.
Bruh, an ad? You're killing me.
This video coming in late today before it all began. Donald Trump touching down, the man to beat, well ahead in the polls. Saying he's no debater, our Tom Yamas asked, did you prepare at all? And take a look at the lineup. The 10 contenders who made the cut tonight sparring in the same arena. Donald Trump and Jeb Bush, by the way, center stage. So let's get straight to Tom Yamas on the ground in Cleveland with the first highlights coming in now. Tom?
David, good evening. We're just behind the debate stage here in the press center as it's getting underway, and there is excitement in this arena. Usually it's for the Cavaliers and King James, but tonight it's for the Republicans, and all eyes on Donald Trump. Will he falter? Will he fight? And can anyone break through? Tonight, the top 10 GOP candidates taking the
highlights I wanted. I wanted the highlights of the debate.
Donald Trump wasting no time during the debate, responding to the first question that he is not ruling out an independent run.
And that experts say an independent run would almost certainly hand the race over to Democrats and likely another Clinton. You can't say tonight that you can make that pledge.
I cannot say. I have to respect the person that if it's not me, the person that wins. I can totally make that pledge. If I'm the nominee, I will pledge I will not run as an independent.
This afternoon, Trump Force One landing just hours before the debate, carrying not only the Republican frontrunner, but the entire Trump clan.
Welcome to Cleveland. Is it true you did not prepare? I'm not too, well, let's put it this way. I've been preparing all my life. We have to make our country great again. That's what we have to do. We have to make America great again.
What's it like to have the bullseye? His closest competition, Governor Jeb Bush, earlier reaching out to a higher power.
This is the main way I plan is Pray to my Creator.
Yeah, and so are you excited? Are you nervous? It's been a while since you've been on the debate stage.
I don't. None of that stuff matters. I'm going to speak from my heart, talk about my record. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
ABC News tracking all the candidates. Some spending time with family, taking time out for supporters, and like Governor Chris Christie, who barely cracked the top 10, on the move today.
How are you? Yeah, be ready.
David, this is the largest live audience for a Republican presidential debate.
Barely cracked the top 10, and he's on the top 10 again for the next debate. Squeezed in there.
Buzzer to cut off candidates when they went over time. Thankfully, they're not going to do that. David?
Tom Llamas tracking down the candidates for us today. Tom, thank you. And let's get right to ABC's chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl, who is inside the arena tonight. And, John, so much talk about Trump being the target, but there's somebody else on that stage candidates might be going after?
Well, David, for all the talk about the bullseye being on Donald Trump, talking to the campaigns, I see no candidate coming into this debate trying to pick a fight with Donald Trump. He may be the obvious frontrunner right now, but they don't see him as ultimately having a chance to win the nomination. They will be going after Jeb Bush. If it's 9-1 in this debate, the one under attack is much more likely to be Jeb Bush, still seen as the man to beat.
All right, watching out for Jeb Bush tonight. John Karl, thanks for that. Let's get right to one other question tonight with ABC's political analyst Matthew Dowd. Donald Trump said just in the last week, Matthew, this about debating. I want to remind everyone at home.
I've never debated before. I'm not a debater.
I'm not a debater, he says. I've never been in a debate before. What do you make of this?
I think that's probably an accurate statement because he's much more used to giving orders in his previous life.
Just delivering it out there.
Just telling people what it is.
When he says no debate prep, because you prepped candidates for years before you became our analyst here, do you believe that there's been no prep here?
He's been prepped. What this is really about is lowering expectation. What every candidate wants to do, including Donald Trump, is lower expectations far enough so that then when the night comes like tonight, you can exceed them. And so the story is in the aftermath that you exceeded the lower expectations. That's exactly what Donald Trump's doing.
All right, Matt Dowder.
And then I watch this idiot Lindsey Graham on television.
He's a jackass.
And he calls me a jackass. He's a jackass.
Stay in the race. Just stop being a jackass.
The problem with Mr. Trump's language is it's divisive, it's ugly, it's mean-spirited.
I'm not a fan of Jeb Bush.
It's Jeb Bush.
He's stumbling. I don't know. I don't understand this man. He's stumbling like he's not even a smart person. On simple questions. What's going to happen when it's complicated? I call him the reluctant warrior. And perhaps warrior is not a good word because I'm not sure he's a warrior.
Rick Perry should have to have an IQ test before getting on the debate stage.
He offers a barking carnival act that can best be described as Trumpism.
He put glasses on so people will think he's smart.
Donald Trump's candidacy is a cancer on conservatism.
What about Marco Rubio?
I think he's highly overrated.
I don't think that the way he's behaved over the last few weeks is either dignified or worthy of the office that he seeks. We already have a president now that has no class.
And by the way, I have much better hair than he does, okay?
You have better
and
hair
you know it's my hair.
Okay. It's not what I expected from highlights, you know. I was expecting more focused. It was like halfway, not even halfway in. Like maybe a fourth or third of the way in, it started going to the media and the media coverage of everything. It was a lot focused on Donald Trump. So, but I think that was still worth watching, though. It was interesting to see the back and forth between Trump and what all the other candidates were saying about him, what he was saying about them. I think that was put together pretty well. I should probably still go back and watch the rest I missed. Maybe rewatch it. I'm still trying to get as informed as possible on the Republican side of things, you know. So my knowledge is a little lacking on that side in some aspects, you know. And I still never watched the whatchamacallit, forget what they called the debate that wasn't the primetime debate, but the one that Fiorina did so well in, apparently. So I think I should check that out too. I think people like Christie, the ones in the bottom of the top 10, I think have no chance, to be honest with you. I can't see anything happening to shake things up. I think Donald Trump is a guaranteed front runner just from the media coverage alone. I still don't see how America would vote for him, or why Republicans would vote for him as the nominee and put him up to be voted for. You know, I just don't see America picking him over any other candidate, or Republicans picking him over another candidate. I don't know. Because there are the polls and everything. I think it'll come down to the few that are at the top. Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, Carson, Trump, Bush, maybe. But if it's anything like his performance on this debate and the future debates to come, then I don't think so. Because, what the was it ABC was saying? I think that was pretty accurate. That he's kind of losing steam, and the inevitability, I believe they said, of his nomination because of his name. He was like Hillary Clinton coming into this because of the name recognition, I suppose. But yeah, I think he sort of lost it there. Trump, I think he had solid speaking that he used there, but I don't know. I don't think he got into enough specifics to really. I don't know. I think Donald Trump is just an enigma. I don't know. We're just going to see in the debates to come. I think more and more. I feel like more and more heated debates are going to come between him and other candidates. I'm kind of excited to see that happen.